Every empire, historians say, eventually runs the same play. 53. Iran had a democratically elected prime minister named Mohammad Mossadegh. According to declassified CIA and British government documents, he nationalized Iran's oil industry, cutting out British and American petroleum companies. Within months, based on those same declassified records, the CIA and British intelligence organized a coup. They paid street gangs. They bribed military officers. Mossadegh was removed from power. What replaced him, according to the historical record, was Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, a monarch backed by Washington and protected by a secret police force called SAVAK, which human rights organizations documented as responsible for widespread torture and imprisonment of dissidents. He ruled for 26 years. When he fell in 1979, what replaced him, the Islamic Republic, is still in power today. What happened in the past was often improvised. What happened in 1991 had a global budget, a broad coalition, and a televised press conference. Official records, now declassified, confirm a strategic partnership existed through the 1980s. During this time, intelligence and dual-use materials were exchanged, and high-level diplomatic meetings took place to formalize the relationship. But when a neighboring country was entered in 1990, that alliance shifted almost overnight. What followed was a massive international military operation, marked by a 42-day air campaign broadcast, live across the globe. Though the conflict ended, the existing leadership remained. A new policy of containment was enacted, centered on one of the most comprehensive sanctions regimes in modern history. While intended to pressure the government from within, the blockade had a profound and documented effect on civilian life. International aid organizations and UN reports from the period cited widespread shortages of medicine, clean water, and essential goods, contributing to a humanitarian crisis that unfolded quietly over a decade. In parallel, teams of international weapons inspectors were dispatched to conduct exhaustive searches across the country, a tense and highly publicized process that continued for years under intense global scrutiny. After more than a decade of this sustained pressure, a new case was presented before the international community, citing what was described as definitive evidence of active and prohibited weapons programs. A full-scale military action began just 43 days later. Subsequent official reports, however, including those from teams on the ground, found no active programs at the time of the action. Within 3 weeks, the government fell. The aftermath of this event and the power vacuum it created will be covered in Part 3. The United States spent, according to Brown University's Costs of War project, over $2 trillion and lost more than 4,000 military lives, removing Iran's most powerful regional enemy. Saddam Hussein had fought Iran to a bloody standstill for 8 years. With him gone, Iraq's Shia majority, historically aligned with Tehran, moved into government. Analysts say Iran gained what they describe as a strategic land corridor to the Mediterranean it had never previously possessed. Geopolitical analysts and regional governments began referring to what they called the Shia Crescent, a line of Iranian political and military influence running through Iraq, Syria, and into Lebanon, where Hezbollah, Iran's primary proxy force, had positioned itself on Israel's northern border. The sectarian vacuum left by the 2003 invasion also produced, according to multiple government and academic assessments, the conditions that enabled the Islamic State. ISIS emerged from the collapsed Iraqi military and Sunni communities stripped of political power. Washington spent, according to Pentagon figures, another $1 trillion fighting what the 2003 invasion is widely credited with having created. 2 separate regional catastrophes, based on the documented record. Same origin point, same decision. The 2003 invasion was designed to contain Iran. Multiple independent analysts and former U.S. officials have since said it produced the opposite result. Part 4. How the next operation assembled. Same playbook. New names. By 2024, based on publicly reported events, the trajectory was already set. October 2023, a regional conflict intensifies. April 2024, 2 regional powers exchange direct strikes for the first time in history, according to officials. September 2024, a senior militant leader is reported deceased. June 2025, an 11-day military operation concludes with a ceasefire announcement that holds for 8 months. January 2026, indirect negotiations resume. A mediating official reports that one nation agreed to scale back its enrichment program and accept full international verification. A breakthrough was reported to be within reach. 4 days before, a world leader stated that the other country had resumed its advanced development programs. A separate international agency report noted an accumulation of enriched materials beyond agreed-upon limits. Both sides gave conflicting accounts of where the diplomatic process had stalled. Regional analysts reported a significant military build-up in the area, with forces on standby. Part 5, The Strike. February 28, 2026. Within 12 hours, the Middle East had changed permanently. What followed would be studied for generations. Across 26 of Iran's 31 provinces, infrastructure that had taken years to rebuild was reported destroyed. Nuclear sites confirmed by international observers as operational weeks earlier gone. By March 1st, Iranian state media reported that the country's highest leadership had been eliminated. Dozens of senior officials confirmed dead. The government structure Iran had maintained for 46 years, severed at its head. Iran's retaliation was immediate and massive. Hundreds of projectiles, thousands of unmanned craft. 9 countries became targets. The region was no longer watching, it was burning. The world's most critical oil corridor fell silent. 20% of global seaborne supply frozen. Oil prices broke $100. What began as a military operation was now an economic rupture felt on every continent. Thousands reported dead across multiple nations. Figures unverified, disputed, and still climbing. Every number a consequence of decisions made in the weeks prior. Part 6, What Power Abhors Most? A Vacuum. The pattern is documented across 70 years. Remove the government. Declare objectives achieved. Leave. What grows in the absence, historians have consistently argued, tends to be worse than what was there before. 1953. Foreign intervention created the conditions for the Islamic Republic. 2003. Regional war handed Iran the influence it had always sought. 2026. The Republic's founding leadership was eliminated, and within days a successor was named. According to Iranian state media, confirmed by multiple international outlets, the son of the eliminated supreme leader was announced as successor on March 8th. The appointment, Foreign Affairs reported, was driven as much by necessity as merit, an attempt to preserve continuity after the country's clerical and military leadership had been largely wiped out. The operation designed to dismantle the Republic may have handed control to its most hardline internal faction. The figures who might have negotiated a settlement, gone. What remains, multiple analysts noted, is an ideologically driven military apparatus operating under external pressure, with no confirmed public presence from its new leader. 4 interventions, 73 years. The documented sequence is identical every time. An ally becomes inconvenient, justification is presented, the leadership falls, and what fills the space that remains is, history suggests, always harder to control than what came before. The history they stopped teaching continued. Subscribe to Black Standard Archives. The pattern never changes, only the names do.